Writers use different ways of conveying their ideas and messages. We call these literary elements. There's a ton of literary elements which you need to know about. All of these are related to sensory language, which is using words to create a more vivid picture for the reader. Sensory language uses one or more of the five senses: sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. Let's start with similes and metaphors. Similes and metaphors are used to compare two generally unlike nouns. The difference? Similes use the words like or as, while metaphors do not. Now, examples.
You are my sunshine.
Is it a simile or a metaphor? How about chocolate is my kryptonite? If you see like or as, then it is a simile. If not, it is a metaphor.
Now onto hyperbole. A hyperbole is a really exaggerated phrase. It is used to make something seem more dramatic than it really is. This bag weighs a ton, or you're 1,000 miles away, are examples of hyperboles.
Symbolism is when an object stands for or represents something else, whether it be a person, place, thing, or even an idea, like how the flag represents a nation. Whenever we salute the flag of a particular country, we're saluting the country as a whole.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I'm pretty sure you've heard this expression before. This is an example of a cliché. Clichés are expressions that have been used so much that it's rendered meaningless.
The pencil danced across the paper, or the leaves waved in the wind. What type of literary element is this? I'll let you guess. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Personification! These are types of personification. Why? Well, personification is the assigning of human qualities to things that are not humans. Pencils can't actually dance, nor can leaves actually wave. These are used to create a better, more vivid picture. What's better? Saying the pencil moved across the paper, or the pencil danced across the paper. How about the leaves shook from the wind, or the leaves waved from the wind? The words danced and wave painted better pictures because they show more. How do I put this? Enthusiasm and style.
Thank you, officer. Now that you have taken my license, I can't drive. Notice anything odd in this sentence? Well, that's because it is an example of irony, specifically verbal irony. Verbal irony is a use of words to convey a meaning that's the opposite of what you stated aloud. What? To put it simply, it's when you mean the opposite of what you actually said. The driver thanks the policeman for taking away his driver's license and preventing him from driving anymore, even though it's implied that he means the opposite of this.
An idiom is a word or phrase that is not meant to be taken literally. It's when a phrase has a meaning different from its literal interpretation. Take the phrase, I drew a blank. It does not mean you literally drew a blank. It means that you can't remember a particular thing or read between the lines. It doesn't mean actually look at the spaces between the lines of a written word. It means find something's hidden meaning.
Boom, drip, bark. What do these words have in common? They're all examples of onomatopoeia. An onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound of an object or action to which it refers, like drip refers to, well, dripping. We also have chirp, 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 or beep, beep, or
The oxymoron. Two ideas that contradict each other are conjoined to make some sort of rhetorical effect. In William Shakespeare's play, Romeo and Juliet, Romeo lists several oxymorons, all in a row. This can be found in Act 1, Scene 1, when Romeo is speaking with his cousin Benvolio. The phrase growing smaller is also an oxymoron because growing refers to getting bigger, while smaller is the state of being, well, little. These two ideas contrast each other, but are used in conjunction with each other. Puns! Everybody loves puns, right? This literary element is by far the simplest to understand, I would think. It's a play on words. Puns are used simply for comical effect. This is an example of a pun. I was struggling to figure out how lightning works. Then it struck me. The sentence makes use of the multiple meanings of strike. One implication in the sentence is that the narrator was literally hit by a bolt of lightning. The other is that the narrator finally figures out how lightning works.
Chocolate is her Achilles heel. This phrase makes use of the literary element allusion. This sentence alludes to Achilles, the mythical Greek hero of the Trojan War. When his Achilles was dipped in the river Styx by his mother, he became invulnerable to all injuries, all except his heel, which was the only part of the body not dipped in the river. Achilles was shot in the heel during the Trojan War. The term Achilles' heel refers to the point of weakness. Allusions are references or of mentions to certain people, events, statements, and anything else.
The phrase I know nothing is a type of paradox. Paradox is a type of literary element which is a statement that goes against itself but may have a hidden truth when examined more closely. The statement is an example of paradox because it contradicts itself. A euphemism is a literary element that is used to avoid saying certain expressions that may be deemed offensive. This is similar to political correctness. It's basically saying something in a more polite manner. Examples of euphemism include letting someone go instead of saying fired, break wind instead of saying farting, or senior citizen instead of old.
Alliteration means that beginning sounds of words are repeated in close succession. Example: she sells seashells by the seashore. The example is alliteration because the sound S is repeated.
Assonance is a literary device used by writers to repeat a vowel sound in a line of poetry or text. An example is west beast, east beast. The E sound repeats. It differs from consonants because consonants refers to the repetition of the same consonant sound, not vowels. An example of consonant is he was sent to build a tent, but he can't. The consonant sound N or end is repeated. Both of these differ from alliteration because alliteration refers specifically to the beginning sound of a word, while assonance and consonants can take place anywhere in the word. Graphic elements is the use of varying lengths and lines of poetry that help to enhance it. It is the visual aesthetics of a poem.
Rhyme is the repetition of similar sounds in two or more words. Rhythm is how the words flow with the stanza. Repetition is the reusing of syllables, sounds, words, or phrases. Example is, spaghetti, spaghetti, you're wonderful stuff. I love you, spaghetti, I can't get enough. The word spaghetti is used repetitively. Stuff rhymes with enough. The words flow together well.
And that's all. Those are all examples of literary elements. We hope you learned something after watching this video.